I'm Rob Liebman, and I lead our MLR services and technology offerings at Indegene. And on this episode of our MLR and the Agentic Era podcast, I'm excited to have with me Nikesh Shah. Nikesh leads all agentic AI solution development for Indegene's enterprise medical business unit. He's a peer of mine. We're on the same leadership team, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with him, especially as we prepare for the official launch of Indegene's new MLR agentic AI solution, Next MLR. We're really going to talk about AI and GenAI and agentic AI in general, not on our product, but it's at a very distinct time within our organization. So welcome, Nikesh, and great to see you again.
Thank you so much, Rob, for having me on the podcast, and always a pleasure.
Cool. So since we know from past conversations, you and I, that we could take hours, right, talking about this topic. I'm thinking we're just going to jump right in because unfortunately we are limited, but I really wanted to get your perspective and expertise. So if it's okay, I'm just going to start throwing some things out there.
Sure, that's true.
All right. So maybe for the perspective of the audience, we should start with a little bit of foundational knowledge, since we don't know the vast or differentiating knowledge you may have. Could you explain the difference between agentic AI and Gen AI for our audience, just so they have again, foundational understanding?
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a great question to start with, Rob. I think all of us have a fair sense of what generative AI does and can do. Agentic AI is really touted to be the next evolution in that same continuum. And as the name suggests, agentic AI is really about agents doing a lot of the work. And agents, by definition, have what is called agency. Now, what that means is that agents are equipped to be able to take decisions on their own. And these decisions are actually in the pursuit of achieving a defined goal. So what that means is that agents are given a goal, and to achieve that goal, the agent can take decisions that normally, if you look at traditional programming that we've done, everything is like sort of well-defined and rule-based, saying that if this, then that. Whereas when it comes to agents, agents can actually take a call on how to change their trajectory to meet with that objective. Agents are also self-correcting, so they can retrace their steps, they can make corrections and then proceed. So that's a huge difference from even generative AI, which has been very powerful, but it still is guided by what humans tell it to do.
So that is helpful. I'm probably going to answer my own question. So with technology and especially AI development progressing at such rapid speeds, is it safe to say that if you were developing or deploying AI as part of your MLR process today, that it would be smarter to choose agentic AI versus Gen AI, just considering advancements?
Yes, especially if the process requires a lot of decision making. Then yes, definitely using agents or agentic AI would be a better choice.
So let's talk a little bit. Well, right, to drive decisions, right, we need AI to be smart. We need agents, which are sort of like our virtual colleagues, even though it's not necessarily a term I'm very fond of. But maybe you could then share a little bit more at a high level about how an agentic AI solution is architected. I'm thinking specifically for MLR. Of course, if we speak in generalities, it's okay also, but how is an agentic AI solution architected? I'm thinking like data pipelines, modeling strategies, and how does that encompass the human in the loop design aspect of it as well? Maybe you could elaborate for us.
Sure, no, absolutely. Rob, and you did use an important term, right? Virtual colleagues. And hence, typically, if you think of an agentic solution, which is given a goal, right? It is when we architect it, we also architect it to choose how many agents will it spawn, right? So there's typically a team leader or an orchestrator agent, and then there are doer agents, so to say. Each agent has certain abilities, right? Very similar to how humans are organized themselves, right? You have a team leader, and then different team members have different ability. And then the team leader or the orchestrator agent decides on, okay, who should be doing what, or how many of such agents we need, right? That's one part of it. The other part really is about what models to choose. Now, more often than not, most models do a good job. Most foundational models, whether it's OpenAI models, whether they're Anthropic models or Google models, they do well. But you generally find that there are some tasks at which certain models are good, and somebody who's designed a good system will kind of focus on using certain models for certain types of tasks. Right? So that's the other thing that we keep in mind when we design something like this. And finally, the two other things, right? One is, of course, how do you access the right data to make the right decisions, whether it is about the input files, whether it is about reference files, right? Whether it is about guidelines or formats, etc. So agents really use typical traditional techniques called APIs, or they will use A2A protocols to access other agents or MCPs, right? These are some of the newer terminologies that are coming around, especially for agents to do their job effectively. Last thing is about human in the loop. Despite agents being as intelligent and as sufficient as they are, we definitely still want humans to take certain decisions, humans to verify whether agents are actually doing the job that they're supposed to do or not. So that's where the design really helps to say at critical points in the entire process, we want the human to say, yes, okay, makes sense, go ahead, or no, let's redo this.
That's helpful. So maybe building on this a little bit, right? So we're speaking about the agents and how they go about their jobs, but they're part of this larger ecosystem. How do they connect with existing MLR workflow systems, medical content, reference libraries, etc.? So sort of drilling in a little bit more, right? So I think you gave a really good understanding to us about what the agents are, how they operate within broad models, etc. But relative to MLR workflow as part of this ecosystem, how does that work?
No, and this is, in my mind, one of the most important questions, because most AI applications, whether it's GenAI or Agentic AI applications, fail if they are not able to sort of wrap around the process, right, and hug the process tightly. And this is where I think, speaking in the MLR context, we all understand that most pharma organizations today would use Viva, right? Some would use Salesforce, some would use Adobe. But most use Viva, right? And the ability to interact with Viva promomats, specifically, is super critical for the process to be compliant, for the humans in the loop to trust it, and for the sanctity of the system of record, which is Viva, to continue. And hence, what any good system would do, any good MLR system would do, is that it would pull the assets from the Viva system. It would look at references or claims in the database and pull those while verifying any claims that are made in the asset, and push back the annotations, the anchoring, whether it's that anchor tags, reference tags, etc., all of that back into Viva, so that humans who are used to reviewing the assets in Viva don't have to go through a lot of change management. And that's really is a key to the adoption of a agentic system in the workflow that is well accepted by the industry.
Oh, it's a lot of orchestration, and it's actually going to lead into my next question. We all read in the publications across industries, right, about the spend on AI and companies not getting the value and proof of concepts and pilots. And we know from our direct discussions, we sort of live in that same world where, it's a highly regulated industry. slow to change, but the real value is by deploying technology, right, to help address these issues. So when we think about the application and integration of AI, of agentic AI in the MLR process, and knowing these sort of constraints and where we are, what's your near-term view? Like, what do you think becomes more automated? What will remain reviewer-led? At least in the near term, what are you seeing, or what do you predict, if you will?
Yeah, no, I think it's very, very important, Rob, that in the near term, that we establish a certain trust, we establish ways of working, we establish the right process, any reskilling that might be required for the end user, and focus on that instead of trying to automate just more and more and more, right? So whether it's you talk about existing claims or new claims, right, that will definitely get automated. Whether you talk about ISI or proofreading, that will get automated in the near term, right? Whether it's extraction of new claims, that will get automated. And these are the foundation of any MLR system. And in the near term, we feel that many of these will get automated for most of the common asset types, right? And that refinement is very necessary before we go on to the vision, or we go on to doing more automation of different types of assets.
So you must be thinking along the same lines, because I'm not letting you off the hook yet. I know we're constrained by time, but we think about near term, right? The more repetitive tasks that could be really automated, right? So I guess you're seeing that in the near future, which many of us do. And we understand there's a progression and like a curve, an adoption curve. But before we finish, I'd love to hear what your vision is when we look out beyond the say the 3-year mark. Like, do you see drastic transformational change? Do you see this as a build on what we're doing today in terms of the role that AI is playing in MLR? Like, what do you see if you put that crystal ball out several years?
Yeah, again, the space is changing so fast that 3 years is almost a decade in terms of so difficult to look that far out. But I would hazard a guess that more than anything else, adoption of these agentic systems, especially in MLR, I think that will start becoming commonplace over the next 3 years. I think the trust in the system will improve on both sides, because one is humans will learn how to work with these systems, and of course systems will also have improved, right? The models would have improved, the ability to monitor agents, the ability to control and guide them, as well as the ability to give them more autonomy will also go up at the same time. And the vision, the typical vision of having a 24-hour MLR cycle, right, from the time an asset is produced to the time that it goes into the market, that's something that we will get a lot closer to. We may not still achieve it, but if we could get a lot closer to that 24-hour cycle, right, which would really help the pharma companies tremendously in terms of going to market fast.
It's interesting. And so the one thing that keeps ringing in my head is when I think about this is, don't underestimate the need for change management, right? So humans will change how we do it. Even risk averse will apply AI, but the need for change management and doing that effectively just becomes so evident in all of these progressive activities that we shouldn't forget that. Nikesh, I wanted to thank you for your insights and your vision on the evolution, providing us with foundational knowledge. I know that we could continue, and we will continue this conversation outside of this podcast. But as always, I learned something new every time we speak, and I really appreciate you joining me. And I look forward to speaking with you again really soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Rob. And great to be on the call with you.
Thank you, Nikesh. Until next time, then. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.